always remember seeing these TED Talks and thinking, imagine if you had your own entrance music. What would it be? Now, I spent yesterday and the day before trying to work out how to kind of like put this across. And what I'm asking you guys to do now is imagine a theme music, and I'm going to act out just in a segment, all right? You guys ready, yeah? Don't make this awkward. I'm so glad you guys laughed at that. Right. So that was going to be the opener for this speech, and I remember I had it all planned out. I remember the exact moment. I was on the train, I had a woman with her son next to me, and I had this elderly lady on this side to me. And I remember thinking, this is going to be great. And I was like, yeah, this is sick. This is going to go down so well. But then I started doubting myself, thinking, is this how I start off a TED Talk? I've seen so many like previous TED Talks where people have had those openers that were just insane. You know, like it's like a mic drop before the mic drop. And I was just sat there thinking, is this going to work for me? Like, will it be for me? But anyway, back to the train journey. So, sat on the train, doing the speech on my phone. Sat there, just, I'm like, yeah, now we cook it, yeah. So all throughout this old lady seen me struggling. Like she'd literally seen me just starting deleting. And at one point our eyes kind of met and we kind of looked at each other. And she simply said to me, she's like, don't worry about it, just relax, be yourself. Now at this moment, I could have cried. I swear, I looked at her and I was just like, thank you. And I was thinking, why do old people know the right things to say? Like, who is this woman? Like, how does she know? But more importantly, I thought to myself, why am I losing myself? Why was I trying to help myself and change? Oh, look, that's me. Yeah. So obviously I went online and this quote stuck out to me. And it basically is, the need for acceptance is a basic human instinct. Although some value it more than others, we all want to fit into belong. Now, kind of summarizing this, it basically means that as humans, we all want to be unique and we all want to stand up, but we all share that same idea of wanting to fit into society, to be accepted. Now, when you speak to creatives, it gets a bit more interesting. Creatives have the idea that they want to be able to create something that is unique to them that only they can do. It's not really about making money and getting fans. Well, I mean, okay, cool, it does come down to making money in just a little bit, but it's more about them creating something unique that only they can do. Now, if we take this and apply it to directors, it's the same sort of thing. Most of the iconic and legendary directors in the past have been seen to do stuff that only they can do. It's almost like a unique, hardwired code in their DNA that allows them to do amazing stuff. Take, for example, Spike Lee. He does this thing called, it's like a dolly shot, and it's like, say, for example, I'm here and it's like I'm floating towards you, basically while we're doing it. While we're doing like a speech, and it almost makes it seem as though I'm floating in midair almost. Take, for example, Edgar Wright as well. He does these really quick whip pans, which shows like intensity. Now, with all of these, with these two directors, when they were coming up with these concepts, they didn't know how it was going to be accepted, just because it was them. They just thought, you know what, I can do this, so I'm going to make it happen. Let's just go back a bit and rewind, because I feel like I've just gone straight into it. My name is Jeaniq Amihyia, and I'm a director and photographer. I've pretty much been shooting for, I'd say professionally 9 years, but honestly, I've been shooting since the age of 15. Bringing us on to, this handsome young gentleman was me at age 15. And when I first started photography, I used to take my camera into school and just take photos of my friends. They were literally my unwilling subjects at school. Now, I don't want to be that guy to embarrass my friends, so I'm not going to go and like post up all the old photos of them because that'd be kind of rude. Here are the photos. So I literally would take my camera into school and just take photos of just anything and anyone. There was no real idea. There's more. There was no real plan. There was nothing. It was just me wanting to go out and shoot, basically. There's even more. This was taken in a car park. That is my twin brother, and that is one of my friends. And we literally went out one day and just took it and made it work. Now, I remember I was doing this around 15, but coming up to the age 16 was a real turning point for me. It was almost as if that time where everyone was looking to get their summer jobs, and I was trying to do the same thing. I had an interview at Nighttown, got the job. They said I was a funny guy. Don't know where they got that from, but hey, it's them. And they told me, look, we want you to work next week. Now, I was so excited by this, and I was like, yes, gonna get summer job, gonna have consistent income, this is gonna be great. And at the exact same time, I was offered to shoot a music video for an artist in Marbella. And I made the best choice that I could have made. I chose to shoot the video in Marbella. I didn't tell my mom, obviously I didn't want to get cussed out by her. And I went and shot this video, and it was amazing. But when I got back, that's kind of where I started seeing the downside of things. All my friends were still working now. They all had consistent incomes, where now I had no job. I even went back, crawling back to Nike saying, hey, so about that job, is it still going? And they said, you're on 0 hours contract. You're better off just finding another job. Now, at this point, I remember questioning, thinking, why am I doing this? All my friends have got consistent income, steady income, making money, still having a good time, where there's me struggling, basically trying to make stuff work. And it didn't really take me too long to figure out why. And I think it's just down to the fact that I loved shooting. I loved taking photos. I loved doing everything to do with picture-wise and film-wise in general. I spent days out in the rain trying to get photos. I'd be hanging out someone's car boot, trying to get the shot. These are all the things that I wanted to do because it was something that I enjoyed. And when you enjoy something, it doesn't really matter about the conditions. You just want to do it and make it work. So, age 15 to 24 were the brokest times of my life. I swear, I was making no money whatsoever. But the experiences that I had were priceless. I went on tours, I did festival bookings. I was literally living the dream while living on 0 amount of wage. And this for me was so much better than working a 9 to 5. I feel like for me, I would rather spend 3 or 4 days flat out doing a music video than spend a week doing a 9 to 5. Just because I didn't really like the fact of someone telling me what to do. And more importantly, I wanted to be able to work with people, not for someone. And being a director, that is what it's all about. It's basically a collaborative effort between a group of individuals to produce one successful product. Now, leading up to this, there were often many days and many nights where I spent all night editing, sitting by my computer, learning. And I always used to see people talking about how, I don't have the money, I don't have the access to your cameras and equipment. And to an extent, I hear it, I completely get it. But for me, one thing my mom told me was, it's good to work hard, but work smart at the same time. YouTube was my greatest teacher. Apart from my A-level photography teacher, Ms. Hophouse, who was an absolute legend, YouTube was my teacher. I had all the resources available to me there. It was kind of a thing where it's like, you see people saying they don't have this access, but just because there isn't a big shiny arrow saying learn here, they don't think it's available to them. But YouTube was available. I learned everything from VFX, editing, sound design, you name it, all from YouTube. And it got me through. Now, throughout this, I had, as I said before, willing test subjects that were my friends and my family. And I feel like this is another important subject to talk about because it's not just enough having that drive and that passion. You need to have a solid network of friends and family that you can kind of rely on to push you almost to get through these things. Now, I have 3 friends in particular I'd love to talk about. And these 3 individuals all display different qualities, but have all aided to my career so far. Their names are Jaffa, Lauren, and Elijah. Now we'll start with Elijah. Me and Elijah probably known each other since year 4. He was one of the first people I decided to shoot with. And I remember going up to him saying, hey, look, I just want to take some photos. You want to go outside? And he was like, yeah, great, let's do it. And at one point I was like, hey, look, I want to take some photos of you, but I'm going to do like a little write-up, almost like a little story behind it. And he was like, yeah, let's do it, it's great. And having those type of friends who kind of push you and kind of encourage you to do that makes life so much easier. So much easier. But I think one of the qualities of Elijah that kind of stand out to me is his clean-heartedness and his nobleness as a friend. Sometimes it's about trying to do what's right, even if it means you won't agree with it or you won't be happy. And I try to embody that notion that Elijah has throughout all of my work. Now moving on to Lauren. Lauren is my friend who I've probably known the longest. I've known her since reception. And she was getting into acting and modeling, and I was doing photos. And we didn't really know what we were going to do together, but we knew we were connected in some sort of way, somewhere or another. And it started off with the small things, such as me saying, do you want to do some headshots? And she'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, hey, I want to try out this editing technique. And she'd be like, yeah, let's do it. And again, great, like incredible. But what made Lauren special and what still makes her special to this day is that she would constantly send me examples of like new techniques to try out. She'd be like, hey, look, I've seen this thing up like Tumblr. Do you want to try out this technique? And I'd send her monologues and stuff as well at the same time. So it's kind of like we're feeding off each other, giving each other inspirations for what we're doing. And I think that is very important as well, because it's almost like you need someone that you can bounce ideas off and you can share your creative journey with. And I think throughout the years, we've constantly managed to do this with each other. Even up till now, I literally shot probably one of the biggest ads I've shot in my life so far. And I managed to get her as being one of the main actors involved. And this comes from this, when I first approached her with the idea, it was kind of like a full circle moment for us. Because we started off by like being in my garden, taking random photos, to ending up on this stage. So having someone who can kind of encourage you and get you through this journey is so important for me. Now, on to the last person, Jaffa. Jaffa is probably the most recent of the friends I met. We met probably in sixth form, I think, and Jaffa's a very, very serious guy. Like, he's very straight, down to the bone, like, serious. And for me, I feel like I needed that in a friend. Because there were many moments where, and I still do now, suffer from so much imposter syndrome, it hurts. Like, I literally do not have as much confidence as I would like to at times. So there were cases where, say, for example, when I got my Forbes Under 30 nomination, I legit sent it to him thinking, is this spam or is this real? And he came back to me and he's like, no, it's real, like apply to it. And we sat down and went through writing what I would do to like kind of do my bio and my blurb and stuff. He's done stuff from my website design to any write-ups I can do. And again, that is such an important quality to have in a friend. There's always, having someone in your corner that can help you with that kind of stuff is incredible. Now, there is one other person who is probably the most important person of all, and that is my mom. My mom was the single grounding force that got me into photography. My mom works in the makeup and hair industry and is a costume designer. And how I started was going with her on BTS, basically just taking basic photos. And she saw that I had a passion for photography. And she pushed me to like, she was like, do it. She bought me my first camera. Like, it was down to her. If it wasn't for my mom, I would not be on this stage right now. But what I think was even more important was my mom always spoke about this notion of trying to be the change you wanted to see. And my mom works in an industry which is predominantly white people. And she does there's a lot of shoots where she basically looks after actors and actresses who often need their hair groomed and stuff. And there was this underlying issue where there was always the complaints that a lot of the black actors and Asian actors weren't getting their hair done properly, and they always felt that they weren't being treated properly. And she saw that happening and made sure that she wanted to be the change that she wanted to see for her younger generation, for me. She would go on film sets and make sure that these guys were taken care of, but then she took it a step even further and started running courses to teach other people how to take care of black and Asian hair properly. Now, me seeing this inspired me so much, and it led to me doing a lot more mentoring in schools. Because before that, I'd just been happy-go-lucky. I've been doing photos, going away on a trip here and there, going back home. But then I thought, I want people to look at me and see that you can look like me, you can dress like me, you don't have to dress a certain way, it's just about what you do. And I wanted people to see that, because at the end of the day, that's how you're inspired. You want to be able to see someone that looks like you, because it inspired you to go out and do more. Because at the end of the day, this is all about the next generation. And I want to be able to inspire the next generation of directors, photographers, and artists to be able to do what they want to do without feeling that they're stuck at home, becoming a bedroom genius where no one will see what they're doing. I invite people to shadow me on sets all the time. This recent project we've had now, I've had this lovely shadow board, this lovely personal assistant we've called India. She's very, very, very shy, but during the steps of starting off on the shoot to like where we are now, I've seen such a growth in her confidence. It's little things such as me saying, hey, India, what do you think? She's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, just say it. Like, there's no wrong answer, just say it. And now she's literally giving out, like, she'll message me saying, hey, so Jeaniq, I'm thinking we should just change all of this. And I'm just like, damn, all right, cool. Like, maybe I should just back to the drawing board. But I love the fact that I can see that change in her. Gonna move on to the last segment of this lovely piece. There was something I saw online by this guy called Kenneth Wayne. And he basically put this question out to the audience, and he asked them, if you had a chance to go back 5 years and look after the one person of your choice, who would you choose and what would you do for them? Would you eat better? Would you work out better? What would you do so that when you have that switch back, that person would be in a better place? Now, most people, when you ask, they're like, yeah, I do it for my mom, my grand, my aunt, my little sister, so many people. But the most important person they were forgetting about is themselves. Because if you don't care for yourself, you can't care for other people. If you're not taking the steps to literally have some alone time and have a hobby in the background, you're literally going to get caught in the rat race of life and this whole creative process, which can be so stressful at times. For me, I do origami. It's basically folding paper, and it requires so much patience, and it's very, very fidgety, but it gives me that break away from photography, and I feel like it's so important for everyone to have this. In the society we live in now, you have the younger generation who are seeing their peers achieve fame and wealth at a young age. And then on the flip side, you've got the older generation who are just simply trying to keep up. And I think it's so important to be able to have that breakaway so that you can basically focus on one thing and then focus on your craft. Now, as we come to the end of this speech, I just want to say that with this, it's been different, but for me, I just hope that you take from this that I've been myself. I've dropped a little bit of jokes here and there. I haven't gone too heavy with the facts, but I want you guys to see this as an example of someone who never really lost themselves along the way. Sure, I had a little bit of bumps along the road, but I'm still here doing exactly what I love, and I'm still that same 15-year-old who had that same energy.
Now, to end this on something I thought I would never, ever say. My name is Jeaniq Amihyia, and thank you for coming to my TEDx talk.